I arrived early because arriving early gives you time to decide who you're going to be. The auction hall smelled like polished wood and coffee that had been reheated too many times. Assistants moved with practiced urgency, placing folders at seats, checking microphones, murmuring to one another in a language of logistics. No one looked at me twice, which suited me. I had chosen a chair near the aisle, not because it was strategic, but because I prefer exits I don't have to fight for. When my family came in, they did not arrive early. They arrived loudly. My brother spotted me first. He always did. It was a talent, the way he could locate the weakest link in a room and smile like he'd been handed a gift. "Well, look at this," he said, his voice carrying just enough to invite witnesses. The stupid, broke girl showed up to bid on a repossessed fashion chain. My parents laughed immediately, the way people laugh when they believe they're aligned with power. My mother didn't even lower her voice. "She's probably a janitor here," she said. "Or here to watch and learn." I didn't look at them. I felt the familiar tightening between my shoulders, the old reflex to fold inward. But reflexes can be trained out of you, slowly, over years, if the cost of keeping them becomes too high. I focused on the front of the room. The auctioneer was reviewing terms, his tone neutral, procedural. The chain up for bid had been mismanaged into debt, stripped of its myth, reduced to numbers and assets and liabilities. I knew those numbers intimately. I had spent nights with them, the way some people sit with grief, turning them over until they stopped cutting. My brother slid into the row behind me. He leaned forward so I could smell his cologne, something expensive and aggressive. "You know paddles cost money, right?" he said softly. "Just checking." I kept my hands folded in my lap. Silence has a shape. When you grow up learning when not to speak, you learn how to inhabit it fully. It doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is. The bidding started conservatively. Institutional buyers testing the water, private equity firms speaking through representatives who never met anyone's eyes. The numbers rose in steady increments. My family's laughter faded into whispers as they realized this was not a game. Still, no one looked at me. I remembered briefly a different room, a dining table. My brother explaining markets to me when we were younger, pausing after every sentence to ask if I was still with him. My parents nodding along, relieved that one of their children sounded like he belonged in the world. The current room called me back. A bid came in that pushed the price into serious territory. The auctioneer paused, scanned the room. "Any advance?" I raised my paddle. It wasn't dramatic. My arm moved the way it would have if I were signaling a cab. The number left the auctioneer's mouth without emphasis, absorbed into the rhythm of the process. Behind me, a chair scraped. "What?" my brother said, too loud. The bidding continued. Another firm countered. I raised again. Each time, the auctioneer acknowledged me with the same neutrality he gave everyone else. That neutrality was the point. Authority does not care about your family dynamics. It cares about verification. When the final gavel came down, it sounded smaller than people imagine. Wood on wood. Done. The auctioneer announced the result. My name followed, clearly without apology. There was a moment, not silence, exactly, but a recalibration. The room adjusted its understanding of who I was allowed to be. A legal counsel approached my seat, folder in hand. "Well, proceed with confirmation," she said, professional, efficient. She did not look confused. She did not look impressed. She looked prepared. My mother stood up. "There must be some mistake," she said, her voice suddenly thin. "She doesn't." The counsel turned toward her, polite but firm. "Ma'am, transactions are verified prior to bidding." My brother laughed again, but it landed wrong this time. "This is some kind of stunt," he said. "She doesn't have that kind of money." I stood then, not to address them, but because the counsel gestured toward a side room. I followed her, the door closing softly behind us. Papers were signed. Timelines outlined. Responsibilities transferred. Control, when it arrives, often looks like paperwork. When I returned, my family was waiting near the aisle. They had arranged their faces into something new, curiosity mixed with calculation. "So," my father said, Attempting casualness. You should have told us. I considered that. There had been many moments I could have told them many things. None of those moments had felt like invitations. I didn't think it was relevant, I said. My brother's smile was strained. This changes things, he said. It did. But not in the way he meant. They began talking about opportunities, about involvement, about how families should stick together. Their words stacked quickly, building a bridge they expected me to cross. I listened. I let them finish. Then I said, "My counsel will be in touch if anything comes up that requires your awareness." Awareness was a word I chose carefully. It did not promise inclusion. My mother reached for my arm. I stepped back, not sharply, just enough. The boundary held. Later, outside, the air felt different, not lighter. Clearer. There was no rush of triumph, no sudden forgiveness. Just the quiet satisfaction of standing where I had earned the right to stand. I did not cut them off. I did not make speeches. Relationships do not collapse all at once. They erode when gravity changes. As I walked to my car, I thought about how long it had taken to learn that self-worth does not announce itself. It waits. It prepares. And when it finally speaks, it does so in terms that require no translation. I drove away without looking back, already thinking about the work ahead.